Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Screezilla here, and I hope you're all well. And today you join me in the Avro Lincoln. Yes, the Lincoln. A heavy bomber that was very iffy last patch. Since its release, it's not really been that useful. It's got some good defensive armaments with the 20mm and 50 cals. But as we just saw as we looked underneath there, there's been an upgrade to the bomb payload. No longer are you stuck with the GP1000s and only having, I think it was 6 of them, which is only enough for 1.5 bases, which was atrocious in all honesty. You know, only having enough bombs to take out 1.5 bases at top tier in a heavy bomber is really, really glum, and it's a bleak prospect. So the Lincoln really didn't get much love, and especially from me. I didn't really play it, even though it's a fairly decent bomber, and it's a cheap bomber as well, which is something that's not quite common these days. With the repair cost on the Lincoln, you're only looking around about 14,000 lions, whereas with things like the B-29 and things like that, you can be looking upwards of, I think it's 20 to 40,000 lion repair cost for some of the other heavy bombers, which is really hard to justify playing them because, you know, most games you're going to die. You're going to die a lot in a bomber, especially if an enemy interceptor finds you, you're going to have trouble. Now, this game is not looking too good for us. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 fighters, and only one of them is a jet. The enemy team has basically high-end fighters and high-altitude fighters and jets, and that's pretty much everything. We have 3 bombers on the team, and of course the team were a bit despondent about that. They were very much saying, well, we've lost this game, giving up hope, and basically thinking, well, let's just give up. I'm pretty sure some of them were thinking about J'ing out as well. So, in a situation like this, what should you do as a fighter? Well, one thing you should do is ask the bombers to circle a little bit and then provide them with cover. If you can cover these bombers, they're going to be able to almost take out the... Well, they're going to be able to take out all 3 bases and possibly take out the airfield as well, depending on the payloads they have. Now, I didn't ask the B-29s what type of bombs they were carrying. If they were carrying the 1,000-pounders, then I think we'd have enough all-round payload to take out all the bases. Let's just quickly jump to them and see what they've got on board. So that's 1,000-pounders, and that is the 250s. So, yeah, so he's got the 500-pounders, I think, or 250-pounders on board. So we're just lacking that little bit of payload, basically, to take out the airfield. So we won't be able to do the airfield in one strike. But that doesn't mean that the game's over. It does not mean that the game's over. If you can protect the bombers, you're also going to be able to pick off enemy fighters as well, because enemy fighters love to attack bombers. They see a bomber and they see a free meal, and they just see free RP and lions, and that's what everybody calls bombers. You know, every fighter pilot, like everybody that flies fighter planes only, call bombers a waste of time, a waste of space, free RP and lions. And really they're not. They are pretty crucial to the game sometimes, and today we're going to see that. So we're just milling around, not sure who's going to take what base. We're just chatting between each other, just saying who's going to take which base. Communication is key. So there we go. We've decided which way we're going. So, you know, I said I'm happy to go for the airfield. You know, I've got 14,000 pounds of bombs already. Now, we have a 7JW coming in. Oh crap. So in this situation, you've got to really start thinking about maneuverability and maneuvers. So we start firing off some 50 cals just as a warning. Now, this guy's going to come in at the wrong angle. So if you look here, he's coming in, and we have just started pulling up, just as he started turning in, and with that, we've missed his shots. So we're going to start diving in a second, because he's turning to try and get us on target, and as you can see, he's way off at the moment. So we're going to start turning in a little bit, and now we're going to start firing our rear guns. So the 50 cals from the rear are going to start doing their job. Now, just fire bursts. And we're getting on target. We set him on fire, and that is the end of that plane. We have taken out a plane. So, it's good. Now, I do a pull-up, just in case he was thinking of trying to basically ram me, or pull up and try and get a last-ditch cannon shot in. Now, friendlies have said they're going to take the bases, so I break off, don't drop the bombs. I'm saving all my bombs for the airfield now. Now there's another 7JW coming in, so again we're starting to have to think about defensive manoeuvrability. Now our team is not looking too great. Now we've lost 2 fighters already, so things aren't going too good, but the enemy have lost 2 as well, and luckily they've lost 1 to a bomber. So that 7JW is actually breaking off and going for the fight with the actual fighter planes, which is really good news. So we've got lucky and basically lost him from attacking us. So now we've got the airfield to hit. So pretty sure he's broken off from my tail. So turn in and get ready to attack. Now, as a big shout out to Biltic here. This guy is just an absolute legend, and he had just an amazing game. So far, he's got 2 kills. He's got a 262 on his tail. Flying the French variant as well. Vive le Français. So not much is happening up with me at the moment. I'm just flying along. So he's dodged that attack. And he's got this 262 into a turn fight. The F-80 comes in after the bait. Beautiful work. And the F-80 crashes. Okay, so not great work from the F-80. But now Biltic has to start doing defensive manoeuvring. And he's up against this J7W. So, he's brought it to low altitude, which is the best place to fight it. He's got the energy. And there he goes. Beautiful work. Absolutely fantastic. So, 3 kills for him. And he's actually going to get a 4th. Just a really good game, and he basically carried the team. No shame in saying that. So I was just busy watching the fight as it was happening. Oh well, that's interesting. So now we're coming up to the airfield, and I'm relatively low, but because of the cloud cover it means the AAA doesn't usually light up. Now it looks like there's a plane on the airfield, so again, report that in chat. Just say that there's a plane in the airfield, and you can tell that when the clouds are sort of here, because you can see a black dot, and that black dot will have teleported up the runway a little bit, sitting just there. You can just see it. So we're probably not going to hit that with our bombs, but you never know. So we drop our bombs out. We drop all series, so all 14 bombs are gone. The B-29s have also dropped all of their payloads. So now we need to return home. So we have 3 bombers and 1 fighter left. Any normal game, people would go, well, that's it, it's game over. Just checking my bombs as I'm going along. Just in case I hit a plane. No such luck. But we do a huge amount of damage to the base. As I said, I reckon if the other B-29 was carrying the 1,000-pounders, we would have actually probably taken out the airfield with this run. And game would have been over and we would have won. Unfortunately, it's not. So we need to go and land, and we need to come back to the airfield. So this is where you have to work out what's going on. So right now I was looking at the team list, and there's 2 planes left. One of them is definitely an Arado, so we've got a jet bomber, and one of them is an unknown. This guy, we didn't know where he was. We've not seen him all game. He's not appeared anywhere. Nobody spotted him anywhere. He's currently very low. And he's currently by his airfield. So I think he's the one that's just taken off, perhaps. So this guy was basically... Well, no, I don't think he will have taken off because he scored no points. So I think he's just been flying around just at low altitude doing nothing all game. So yeah, we didn't really see that plane at all for the whole match. So right now we need to decide what to do. And we're chatting away and we've decided we're going to go for another airfield run. Now, hopefully Biltec will do alright here. And he's taken out the Arado, but he's used up his ammunition, so he's got to go and land. So 4 kills for him. Absolutely brilliant game, and again, thank you so much. It does not look like he's received any damage whatsoever. He's absolutely owned this game. What a fantastic play. So now we're just going to have to get back to base. So we're going to get into a shallow dive and get home. Alright, we will fast forward this section. And we're back. Okay, so we've dropped our altitude, as you can see, and we're coming in for a landing. Now, it's always important to be able to land bombers. I really recommend practicing your landings in bombers because a lot of people fail, and that can be the difference between winning a game and losing a game. For instance, if we had just 2 planes in this match, we would need to do a full run to take out the airfield right now. And if one of those planes crash landed, we would be really, really buggered. So you can see I'm scrubbing off speed, and the way I scrub off speed is just using the tail controls. Just moving it left to right, and that will scrub off speed nicely. Now we've put out our landing flaps, put down a landing gear, and usually I'll throttle up at this point just to keep the nose up. You want to just make sure the nose is still up. So Cal is just aborting a landing by the looks of it. He's going to spin around and go for another run past. You don't want to go in at too high an angle. Now I actually don't get my nose up in time. It's been a while since I've landed one of these. I've been flying the B-24 a lot lately, so I'm used to a nose wheel landing. So I do come in a bit heavy on the nose. Managed to keep the wings up so I don't touch the wings on the ground, so everything is fine. It wasn't one of my best landings, I must admit. But we're all good. Everything's good. Everything is fine. So right now, we're going to rearm and get back to the battle. We have a couple of options here. We could either try and take out pillboxes to run down tickets, or we could go for the airfield. Now, a low altitude run at an airfield is a bit of a suicide mission. You're probably not going to make it back. You're gonna end up dying from it because the AAA is going to cause a lot of damage. Hello, B-29. Yes, I wish I had a nose wheel. So you have to sort of work out what's going to happen. Now right here, I'm just waiting for the B-29 to get ready because I forgot that B-29s don't get a ground spawn, they get air spawn when they land because, you know, screw the British planes. We have to take off manually and struggle with our takeoffs. If you've ever taken off in a welly while carrying the 4,000-pound bomb, you understand my pain. Basically, these things are very heavy and very, very not fun to take off in. The Lincoln's not too bad and the Lancaster's not too bad in all honesty, but short runways can be an issue. When you're flying the Sunderland, not Sunderland, oh, I've forgotten the name of it. The short, what's it called? I've forgotten the name of the plane. Anyway, when you're flying basically anything other than the Halifax and the Lincoln, while carrying full bomb load, it's pretty tricky to take off, especially if you've got full fuel tanks as well. These things are heavy. Very, very heavy. And yeah, it's not too fun when you're taking off like that. So right now we've got the B-29, which is zooming ahead of us, and that B-29 is going to reach the airfield in time. But we're going to play backup, so there is a chance that that B-29 could get taken out by AAA fire on the way to the airfield. Now, Biltic is flying up in the clouds, and he's gotten a bit of distance because he had that blind hunt activated, so he knows where the 262 is, roughly. And we know that the 262 is not in our general location, so we're pretty safe at the moment. So right now, we're the ones that can win or lose this game. Now, of course, Biltic could hunt down that 262 and win, but that's a risk, and that it could be troublesome. He might not find him. That 262 could just hide forever, which is always a possibility. We'll run out of fuel eventually, but it could be hiding for some time. So, our best option is to go for the airfield. So the B-29 is basically going to go front, I will be middle, and then we've got a follow-up B-29 at the back. And all we need to do is drop about 2 or 3 bombs on that airfield, and we have won this match. And this is where the importance of bombers can come in. It's when you're having a game like this. Now, you could say, well, screw. If you were flying a fighter plane right now, then the team would have been better off because there would have been more fighters and you would have won the game anyway. And I disagree with that statement because not everybody is good at playing a fighter. I'm okay at playing heavy fighters and hunting down bombers, and I'm okay at playing sort of ground attackers, you know, things like the Wyvern and the Skyrider, things like that, the AD4s, AD2 and AD4s, you know, things like that, ground attackers, you know, I'm okay at playing stuff like that. Good at sort of fighting stationary targets. I'm good at torpedo bombing. I'm good at doing basically things that aren't very useful to the team. But in a bomber, I can actually be effective and win games for the team, which in a fighter I'm not going to be able to do. And that's one thing people have to remember, is not everybody is the same skill level. Now right here we're coming up to some pillboxes. I should have really dropped on a couple of those tanks as well while I was going over them, but I just thought, no, I'll leave them. Regretting that now. But we're low enough to really get a good accurate hit on the light pillboxes. We're carrying £1,000 MC 1000s, so we're going to be okay. That's what I wanted to mention. Yeah, so with the 1,000-pounders with the 14 payload, we actually get the MC 1000s, which are the heavier payload 1,000-pounders. So those 1,000-pounders, you only need 3 of them for a base. So yeah, the Lincoln has just become the most effective heavy bomber of the game. It's got ridiculously good guns, it's got ridiculously good payload, and it's very heavy. As you see there, we got a direct hit on a pillbox and did no damage, of course, because War Thunder. I'm gonna love War Thunder sometimes. So it really does help out having those bombs on board. But as I said, me playing a fighter is not good. It doesn't end well. I'm not very good at playing fighters. I can if I need to. I'm decent in some other games, not War Thunder though. I'm probably better at sim than anything else, but like a light sim. I need sort of markers and stuff like that because my vision's not that great. So, you know, I struggle with certain aspects. So, me playing a bomber, I'm going to be able to make much more... I'm going to be much more used to the team than if I play a fighter. So, Cal over here is coming up to the base and getting relatively close now. We're coming up to some vehicles and we might as well drop a couple of bombs on these guys just to get some more points basically, because with Cal getting onto the airfield it means that we probably will be getting the win very shortly. So we're going to aim between these two cars, and then we're going to junk just left and drop another one there, and we should hopefully get a couple of kills out of that one, at least 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3. So 3 kills, that's alright. So here he comes, he's coming up to the airfield, and the flak has started. Now luckily the B-29 is relatively robust, but because of the plexiglass nose panel, it can be quite easy to knock it out with a frontal assault, and flak's not good for that. So bombs will be going out very shortly, and I think he's carrying the smaller bombs. I think, yeah, oh no, he's got the 1,000-pounders. Biltic's there, keeping cover. Bombs go out. He's taken some hits from flak, and he's probably not going to make it home. And we're coming in for another run on some vehicles just before the game ends, because those bombs are going to hit the airfield any second. There we go, and that is the end of the game. A victory for us, and well, a pretty good victory in all honesty. I'm pretty happy with how it went. As I said, we had a few really good hits on vehicles, and we also got that plane kill, so we ended up scoring relatively well. So we'll hop to the score screen now, and I will catch you there. And here we are in the post-battle results. So as you can see, we made a fair few lines in that game. Not a bad game in all honesty. Now I am running a booster at the moment, so that is affecting it a little bit. I think it was a 30% booster. So yeah, it paid off pretty well for the 30% booster today. So yeah, 137,000 lions made. We also made almost 10k RP, which has almost got me to the Meteor, actually, and also got me some fuselage repairs for the Lincoln. Now, one of the good things about the Lincoln is it's a relatively cheap repair cost. It's only 14,000 lions, which is one of the cheapest repair costs for the heavy bombers. I'm sure Gaijin will change this at some stage, because they will realise their mistake. But the Lincoln is actually one of the few bombers that can defend itself, and in the British line at least. It's still relatively good. It's still weak at the bottom. You have to watch out for the bottom of the plane, but if you know how to fly it, you can really make it pay off. So in that game, we ended up finishing first with 4,444 points, 6 ground kills, 1 air kill, and the bombs. A big shout out to Biltic. Thank you so much. You really did an amazing job that game. You basically carried the team. Absolute awesome work from him. 4 kills. Really good job. Yeah, without him we would have been screwed. Killer Vanilla, you really didn't do anything. You literally did nothing all game. So I really don't know what you were doing. Yeah, it's interesting with that, because yeah, just, you know, really, you just did nothing in that game. You really could have done something else. If you'd protected the airfield, maybe we wouldn't have had such an easy victory. So, anti-mecha course and triple strike, so that's good. We got some more rewards. And yeah, let's say, like, lots of rewards and things like that. So as you can see, my result went pretty well. And all honesty, a good game for the Lincoln. Let's just quickly... What do we get? We got fuselage repair, that's right. Let's research the radiator. We've got all the bomb stuff done. So with the Lincoln now, with the upgrade to the 14 1,000-pound bombs, means you are comparable to every other heavy bomber in game. So if you look at the Lancaster with its payload, 14 1,000-pound bombs, you've got the same payload as the Lancaster, but you have much better defensive armament. You are bigger, you are a bigger target. The Lincoln is also it's not quite as maneuverable as the Lancaster, but it is much more durable. And that's the thing. The Lincoln is a much more durable plane, especially with the top turrets. Now, because you've got 50 cals on this plane, on the front and the back, it means you have got some guns that can actually do damage rather than 707s. But the big difference maker are the Mark V Hispanos up here, which, yeah, the cannons do help a lot sometimes. You will be able to just rip people apart. Unfortunately, I lost a replay because there was a micro patch put through today. A game I had in the Lincoln yesterday where I was flying it, and basically I was fighting against a TAR 152, and I had to basically flip my plane upside down to shoot it with my cannons, and managed to get it killed in like a couple of hits. It was basically a maneuvering fight with a TAR in a Lincoln, which is something a bit interesting, in all honesty. It's a very different experience. But yes, the Lincoln is fantastic. The trouble is, like all British planes, there is no armour, so one strafe and your gunners die generally. Your pilot's very easy to get taken out as well. You do get taken out very quickly in this plane if you don't manage to take out the enemy planes. I was very lucky in this game with the Japanese plane, because it missed me on its first strafe and then sat on my 6, thinking, oh, it's just an English plane, it won't be able to do anything with those 707s. So we absolutely punished it. With modifications, I do recommend going down the bomber line as fast as possible. You want to unlock your bombs very quickly, and also your defensive turrets. Then, of course, airframe and radiator. Radiator is really useful for the heatsink dispersion as well. Okay, guys, well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Have a nice day, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.